moving to Paraguay. I did it almost 3 years ago now. One-way ticket with no context here, very little Spanish, just a dream to start a new life here, and I ended up making almost every mistake you can make. I cheaped out on housing and it wrecked my health for years. I'm still recovering now. I lost $2,000 on a rental contract and I showed up with no backup cards, so I ended up having to order a bunch of replacements. So if you are thinking about making this move, in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did wrong so you don't make the same Gringo Greg mistakes that I made. I'm Caleb with Base in Paraguay. Let's get into it. So if you've been following this channel for some time now, you'll know that I was originally in Seattle, Washington when I decided that I was done and ready to move away. I researched Paraguay, was going to book a one-way ticket. I had a job at the time, but I had trouble pulling the trigger because I was too damn comfortable in my house. I was living with family, expenses were low, comfort was high, I was chilling. But then stuff happened with my family, and let's just say they wanted my ass out right away, which lit the fire under my ass to book that one-way ticket. I did it, bam, Paraguay. And I have never looked back since. And from that point, that was November 2023, right after Thanksgiving, got my residency in January 2024, and then scheduled it in March 2024. And now I'm a permanent resident almost 3 years later. I break down the full story in a video called How I Got Paraguay Residency in One Trip. Link in the description below. Check it out if you want to. But this video is not about residency, not about that process. This is about moving to Paraguay and the things that you need to know so you don't make the same mistakes I did. So number one, first rookie mistake I made, my documents. To apply to Paraguay residency here, you need to bring an apostillized birth certificate as well as an apostillized police clearance document. For us U.S. citizens, that's an FBI clearance document. Now, when I was researching Paraguay, I had done it about 6 months before I left in anticipation of going. But staying at my family house, I was too damn cozy, and I ended up staying to the point where the documents only had 2 more months of validity. Now, apostillized birth certificate has no expiration date, but the police clearance certificate has a 6 months expiration date. So I had 2 months left. And by the time I was ready to make the move, I reached out to the provider here and he said, oh, we need to allot up to 3 months minimum for the residency process. So the 2 months would be cutting it way too damn close. Long story short, I had to apostilize that police certificate again, and it took 3 months. So it delayed my trip. So rookie mistake number one. So that's why I always say, get your documents when you're ready to go, but know that there's a 6-month expiration on the apostillized police clearance certificate. So keep that in mind if you are coming here with the intent to get your residency. Second rookie mistake, cards. I came with 2 cards, which I thought was good. I thought it had me covered. One of them expired. It was my Capital One 360 card and my Charles Schwab card. Charles Schwab expired and I was asked out because sometimes when you're using the local POS systems here, your cards might just not work. Okay, that has happened many, many times and you need to have a backup. Also, ordering replacements here is a pain in the ass. I got my cards lost 5 times trying to order it. We eventually made it work with DHL. Okay, DHL is the best to get your stuff here if you are doing private shipping, but you don't want to get to that point. You want to have your cards set up. So get as many as you can. Make sure they're up to date with their expiration so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, mistake number 3, Spanish. I thought I can come here with my high school Spanish and get by. Boy, was I mistaken. The Spanish here, I have no idea. I had no idea what they're saying, and I still a lot of times have no idea what they're saying. I'm just like, see. A big reason that, though, to be fair, is because I had spent 5 years living in China, learning Mandarin Chinese. I had exhausted my intellectual curiosity and capabilities for language. I didn't want to do it with Spanish. I thought I could lean on my high school Spanish. That does not work here. Locals speak Spanish, they speak Guarani, and then they speak Yopara, which is a mixture, which gives them a very, very unique accent that you need to have a solid base if you want to even start to communicate and understand. Also, they don't speak English here widely. So if you want to engage in services as seamlessly, go to restaurants, shops, make friends locally, you're going to need a base. Number 4, bring your supplements in bulk, please. Don't assume that you have the same ease of access here. I'm from Seattle. Now Amazon, something crazy like 1 hour delivery, insane. That is not the truth here. Okay, they have supplements, and I mentioned supplements particularly because of my autoimmune condition. I have to go through a lot. They have supplements here, but it's nowhere near what you can get on Amazon directly. Have your supplements, okay? You don't want to play around, get them in bulk, and also other random Amazon stuff that makes you comfortable. Get it all, bring it here. So at least you have a base for a couple months, and then you can figure out how to source locally and then do global box if you need to re-up on your supply. And by the way, if you are seriously considering Paraguay as a base and you want help mapping this out for your specific situation, book a strategy call with our team here in Asuncion. Link is in the description. Now, let me tell you what happens when you land, because I was not prepared for what was going to happen. First thing is the heat. It hit me like a slap in the face, all right? It is hot here. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It is damn hot, all right? Even the locals, my girlfriend's like, it is too damn hot in this damn country. but no one can do shit about it. So what they do, you drink terere and you just handle the shit, right? Terere does help. AC blasting all the time, okay? The heat is real, which is another point why you want to be as comfortable in your first couple months when you get here, because it's too damn hot to move around. You don't want to be outside moving and maneuvering. You want to ease your way into the heat tolerance, okay? I actually was way too aggressive when I first came here. I was walking all up and down in the Gringo Circle, which I outlined in the Paraguay-based blueprint. I was walking from Paseo Galleria all the way down to Mariscal. So I was used to that life. I still do, but I actually almost passed out. I think it was month 2 here because I was dehydrated. I wasn't drinking enough water, and I assumed I could just walk around like I did back home. No. Now, speaking of places to stay, I booked a cheap-ass Airbnb, $500. If you've been on this channel, you know my story with that. In Villa Mora, which is within the Gringo Circle, excellent area, restaurants, shopping, gyms, everything. And on the surface, it was a great deal. Okay, I saw that. I was like, all right, Paraguay, off to a great start. Host was nice and everything. Place looked good, both on paper and the house was decent. It looked pretty good, you know, for $500. You get what you pay for. But what I didn't know is that the house was infested with black mold. And I found out a few months later. My autoimmune flared up. I have a skin autoimmune condition. It flared up all over and it wrecked me really hard. So I moved out that place and I've had to detox, and I'm still dealing with the repercussions of that, all right? Because I cheaped out and picked a moldy ass place. Now, you see my place now? It's got great airflow. It's got sunlight on the balcony. These are great things for mold. You can't get rid of it 100% here in Paraguay. Unfortunately, it's going to be in a lot of places, but you can't optimize for airflow and sun. Unless you know this, right, you're going to get a moldy place. So unless you do your due diligence, you have this awareness and you go to the houses and really check the houses, check where the ACs are, turn on the AC, smell it, okay, because it gets moldy in those too. It carries spores. Check where they paint over, okay? They'll commonly paint over moldy patches. You have to check all this. If you don't have due diligence in person or someone to help you with that, chances are you're going to get a moldy place. So you really need to be careful. And that's another reason why it can look very pretty on paper in the photos. So with rentals, be careful, be aware. All right, now that we're talking rentals, let me tell you how I lost $2,000 with my first rental. So I found a long-term rental. It was pretty good. It was right after the mold incident. So it had airflow, it had sun, awesome. In the Gringo Circle, Villa Mora, I was like, I thought I'd found it. At that time, my cedula wasn't ready. So I jumped the gun and I had to leverage someone else's cedula. I signed it with someone else's cedula. I think it was someone within the owner's family. They signed the contract off for me. Mistake number 1, never, ever do that. Always sign with your own cedula. But I was too much of a noob, a Gringo Greg, to understand. Next thing, they quoted me for a price and I double checked, triple checked. I said, hey, this includes everything, right? This is utilities, rent. Yep. She said, all in, yeah. Just pay the guarantee, pay the money. Here you have to pay a guarantee, which is usually sometimes 1 month deposit, sometimes 2. For me, they did 2, all right? Because they said it's a hassle, you're a foreigner, you're using someone else's cedula, so we want to make sure. It makes sense, but I paid 2, okay? And then I had to pay the fees, then I had to pay the agency fees, and it came to about $2,000. And then guess what? Signed the contract, was moving in, and they said, oh, first month's rent, it's this. I said, but that's not what we said. She said, yeah, because you have to pay this utility. Come on, man. We already said that utilities was included. So I got pissed off, and I said, screw this, terminate the contract, I want my money back. They said, sorry, the owner was in another country, money was kept. All right, lost. Now, what can I do? I have zero leverage. I screwed myself. That was a painful and expensive lesson for me. And on top of that, I didn't speak Spanish, remember? So the contracts and everything and communication, there's probably a lot lost in translation. I take full accountability. I can't just blame Paraguay. That was my foolishness. That was my ignorance on a lot of parts. So takeaway, do not sign anything. Sign with your own cedula. Do not sign anything until you understand every line. And if you don't understand every line, have a party who you trust to be able to intermediate the deal and to be able to help you so you don't get screwed out of your money. And this is actually a catalyst as to why we started based in Paraguay, because we help with these situations too. So you don't have to be alone. If you are going through this now or you're thinking about making the move, just know that. Okay, so after taking all those beatings, I'm still here in Paraguay. And I will tell you this. There were nights where I felt like leaving. When I first moved, I was super lonely, okay? It's not just the language barrier. It's when you come to a country, especially alone, and the honeymoon phase is over, and you start to see the realities of the place you live in, it can get lonely, okay? The dopamine's more off. The grass-fed steak is cheap and amazing, and terere's ice cold, and whoa, Paraguay, new. When that's worn off, the dopamine rush is gone. It's just you and yourself staring at the wall in your house. It's like, oh shit, I did this thing. And you start to weigh the pros and cons of, is this actually the place that I imagined? Is the reality? Is it worth investing more time in here and living? And I was getting to the point where I didn't feel like that because something was missing for me. And I think now I understand it. I didn't feel like I was connected. I think a big part of this was me not making connections with friends and people But I really was just in my house bootstrap. At the time, I was bootstrapping my biz, and I was working all day. Then I'd go gym, then I'd do steak, and I wouldn't really go out and socialize too much. So I felt the hole, which is something that is full now, and I'll get into how it is in a second. But I realized that people and social is a very important part of making the move. And around that time, I met my girl, which, romantic. It gave me the reason to stay. It's like, oh, okay, I don't have to think about if I want to invest myself and my time here, because I have someone worth investing my time here for. So we stayed, she moved in, started building a family, and now we have a doggy, we have a baby, and I'm building a business. So it's almost as if I stayed, got uncomfortable, but then I got a reason to stay. And I'm grateful. I thank God because I got lucky. I met her and gave me that reason to push past. Because now objectively, when I look at it, it was an excellent decision. Paraguay, I talk about it all the time, especially for building business. It's quiet, it's relaxed. I've done more here in the last 3 years than I have in 10 years of my life for that reason. There's no outside noise. It is perfect for founders, but also for raising family, raising my daughter. It's a safe environment, especially coming from Seattle, Washington, where there's drugs, where there's a lot of challenges with homelessness. Let's just say cultural things that don't align with me and how I want to raise my daughter. It's here, none of that. It's pure. It's very pure here, and that's a place I want to raise my kids. And another thing too, the connections you make. When I did meet her, then I started expanding too, and I've met friends here, and the quality of expats, I say this all the time, is so huge and powerful here in Paraguay. All that being said, living here in Paraguay, it comes with its challenges too. Prices are rising, and they've risen from the last 3 years I've gotten here. I've said the ribeye story. Ribeye prices almost doubled in these last 3 years. That moldy ass $500 apartment is now $700 to $800 apartment. Now, Paraguay is still dramatically cheaper than the US. I spend $2,000 a month for my whole family. I break it down in a video, link in the description. But costs are rising naturally as Paraguay is growing, which actually is a bullish thing. I support the cost rising because that means Paraguay is developing, and my decision to invest my time here into a country that's growing and has real upside is the right one. But additionally too, there's infrastructure gaps in living here. The roads, man, the roads. It's like a roller coaster. Floods are crazy when it rains. Power outages happen sometimes, not all the time, but they do happen. Those are probably the biggest challenges. Everything else is quite manageable, especially within the gringo circle. You're good. Malls are modern and upscale. Restaurants, modern upscale. Like you have apartments too. You can get really good apartments. You can get shitty ones too. You just have to know where to look. But a bigger, broader challenge too is adaptability. I always like to say Paraguay has its own flow. All right, Paraguay happens when Paraguay wants. So if you come here expecting Western service, get things when you demand it kind of attitude, you're going to be mistaken and very frustrated. All right, Paraguayans do things when they want. If you need a maintenance thing done, it could come today, but it could come in a few days from now. And that's just how the flow is. And you got to get used to that and be adaptable if you want to make it work long term here. All right. So if you do have that in you and you've heard all this video and you're weighing your decision, whether you want to come to Paraguay and make a life for yourself too, you can book a strategy call with our team. The link is in the bio and we will map it out for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.